Selection has been funding this ambitious mission of theirs.
Right, yeah. As we mentioned before, they're not generating any revenue just yet, which is, it's pretty typical for a clinical stage biotech company. So they've been relying on, on various financing activities to keep the lights on and keep that research moving forward.
Okay, so how does that work in practice? Break it down for us.
Sure. So, for example, in January 2025, they raised $3.3 million. And they did this by exercising warrants.
Warrants. Okay, now remind me, what are warrants again?
Oh, right. So warrants, think of them kind of like stock options.
Yeah.
They give the holder the right to buy company shares at a set price within a specific time frame.
So when these warrants were exercised, it basically gave Silexion a quick cash injection.
Exactly. A nice little boost to their funds. And then in that same month, they also conducted a public offering. They sold company shares to raise another $5 million.
Okay, so they've been actively raising capital to fund their research and development efforts. But I imagine, all this research and those clinical trials, they're pretty expensive, right? Are they still operating at a loss?
They are, yeah. In the third quarter of 2024, they reported a net loss of $11.86 million. And that was significantly higher than their loss in the previous quarter. Yeah. So this jump in expenses really shows just how much those clinical trials are costing.
Yeah, clinical trials they're notoriously expensive. But as you said, this is pretty standard for biotech companies that are in the stage of development.
It is, yeah. They're investing heavily now, with the hope of striking gold with one of their therapies down the line. It's a gamble, but it's one that a lot of these companies have to take.
Right. They're playing the long game. And it's a high-stakes game, for sure. But there's another layer of risk here that's specific to the biotech industry, and that's regulatory hurdles.
Yes, the dreaded FDA approval process. It can be a real headache for these companies.
So even if Silexion's therapies, show incredible promise in those clinical trials, there's no guarantee that they'll get the green light to actually sell them, right?
Exactly. The approval process it's very rigorous, it's lengthy, and there's always a chance that a drug could be rejected, even if it's effective.
So it's not just about the science. It's this whole regulatory maze that they have to navigate.
It is, and that adds a whole other level of complexity to the whole situation.
Okay, so let's recap for a sec. We've got a company with potentially game-changing technology, a stock that's been, incredibly volatile, a complex financial situation, and a long road ahead in terms of regulatory approvals. So what does all this mean for someone who's trying to decide whether